Hi, everybody. Welcome to this Liqo community meeting. Let's present the agenda for today. We are gonna talk about the new releases of Liqo, and the new minor release and the upcoming new major release. We will have Riccardo presenting a POC of a cluster autoscaler based on Liqo, and then, as usual, we open the floor for any questions and ideas coming from the community. In the following weeks, we will release Liqo 1.0.2 with a bunch of bug fixes. We are not introducing any feature. This is just a bunch of fixes that fix some minor issues that came out and were signaled by the users. And while about the new major release of Liqo the 1.1.0 and the upcoming releases, the roadmap is under definition. So feel free to open any issue on GitHub if you have any proposal or idea, so that it will be possible to better define the roadmap according to the community needs. So I believe that from my side, this is all, and I will leave the screen sharing to Riccardo.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry, before leaving the floor to Riccardo, I would like just to mention that, yeah, everybody is welcome to define the roadmap of the 1.1, but is also welcome to contribute to the roadmap by writing.
Sure. For sure.
Everybody is happy to say, I like this, but somebody has to spend working hours there. So, okay. Riccardo.
Hi everyone, my name is Riccardo. I'm going to present my idea of adding the autoscaling feature to Liqo. So, what is autoscaling? It's the ability of a cluster to automatically add or delete a node, to add or delete resources based on the current or expected workload. This feature is well established in a cloud ecosystem, for example, for Amazon. But those cloud solutions, are not so efficient in an edge environment. Why? Because the edge environments, besides the lack of resources, pose other challenges. For example, a cluster in an edge environment could be built with different platform providers from another, and there are application constraints, for example, latency. And Liqo is better suited to deal with those other type of challenges. So first, an idea of my POC. It involves three main components. The autoscaler, that is the software dedicated to detecting issues caused by resources, a lack of resources. And personally, I use the cluster autoscaler, that is an open source project already integrated with also the common cloud providers, such as Amazon or Microsoft, etc. The second component, and I could say the main component, is the node manager. Is the component responsible for managing the node leveraging Liqo. The node in this case are the remote cluster, and so the node manager choose a remote cluster and create the peering or remove the peering based on the decision provided by the autoscaler. The third component is a discovery server. we could see it as a database containing information about the resources that the remote cluster are willing to share, and also info for the creating of the peering with those cluster. Just a few words with the cluster autoscaler. This is an autoscaler based on pods, not on matrix. So it's very reactive. It's not active. For example, the scale up is triggered by when it detects that a pod is in pending state. And that cannot be scheduled on the cluster. So this is a major limitation for the cluster autoscaler open source software. And the cluster autoscaler is already integrated with many providers, but for new providers such as Liqo, it offers the possibility to integrate with using a gRPC server acting as a bridge. I write down this for better understand the next part, that is a simple scale workflow for a scale up. So we have our local cluster that is working normally, and cluster autoscaler is watching our local cluster. Then we deploy an application that requires a GPU. And this cluster hasn't got any GPU. So cluster autoscaler detects the lack, the pod of this application goes in pending, the cluster autoscaler detects this pod is in pending, and send the request to the node manager using the server gRPC as a bridge to have another node with a GPU, so with a particular resources. The node manager queries the discovery server, receive the info about the remote cluster, in this case remote cluster 1, remote cluster 2, choose the remote cluster 1 because it has a GPU, and leverage Liqo to create the peering here. And then send back the result to the cluster autoscaler. And at the end, we have cluster autoscaler that watches both clusters, our local cluster and the remote clusters, and the application is running. This is an example of workflow. There are already next steps in progress. For example, I forgot to mention before that. These three components, the autoscaler, the node manager, and discovery server, are independent one from another. So, for example, we have our company that already have its own autoscaler system. This company could use the node manager without the autoscaler, and also without the discovery server if this company has also its own discovery server. So we can change the module how we want. So the next step, in fact, is changing the cluster autoscaler with the forecast ability feature. For example, the Dream, that is an autoscaler developed by my colleague Mira Capillo. Another next step that is already in progress is the creation of a discovery agent, so a component on the remote clusters that are responsible for updating the resources, because the resources that the remote cluster are willing to share will change over time. And that's all. If you have any question, or I could show you a direct workflow with my testbed that I don't see here now. Okay. So, any question? Advice?
No, nothing in particular. Only, are you going to show this component in?
Yeah, no problem.
So I
Allora,
will answer you after.
okay. So here I have a cluster with no peering. I already have a pod called. I will show you now not a lack of resources, but not of a specific resources like a slide, but a normal lack of resources because I will scale this pod outside the limit of my cluster. First, this is only the autoscaler. Now I will scale. Here there are my three components, so discovery server, the node manager, and the server gRPC. Those are all the codes that the cluster autoscaler are doing. So I will scale my pod. So for now, they will start running, but there are already pod impending. We can see in node group controller that our cluster autoscaler sends the request for a new node. The node group, node manager already asked info about the remote cluster to the discovery server, and now has created the peering without any input from my part, only the replica scale, the scale of the replicas. So, okay, only some time for the peering to go up.
Okay, but what is the cluster autoscaler telling you? Is asking for a certain amount of resources, I think. So he say, okay, I have some pods that requires 3 CPUs that I don't have. Okay.
Cluster autoscaler works similar to the cloud solution. All of this solution works with node group.
Okay.
So they have a template of a node, and for example, cloud solution add a new node with that resources or delete a node with that resources. Cluster autoscaler works the same. He has node groups, and the node manager works with node groups. So cluster autoscaler asks a new node of this template node.
Okay, because he is already doing the number of nodes, the required number of node computation. So he's asking, he knows that a node has 2 CPUs, so I need
exactly
3 more CPUs. I ask for 2 nodes.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And it's only a little different because the node groups of Liqo aren't equal node like in the cloud, but are similar node with a limit. So a minimum resources, a cluster that. Okay.
So if you have 2 different clusters, as your example, one with the GPU and the other without, you need to create 2 different node groups.
Exactly. And so this is the remote cluster. We have a bunch of the nodes, the pods, and if I scale down, there we did, and they scale down. That's node. You could see the new node, and after a while, there will only one node. And this is the presentation. Yeah, the difficult part is to establish the types of node group based on resources.
Yeah. I was exactly thinking on that because you don't know the class autoscaler doesn't tell you how many resources, which kind of resources is needing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the new autoscaler will be a little different, because now I only take the node group that class autoscaler accept and use that.
Okay.
With a new autoscaler, we could choose, we could take more info about the resource needed.
Did you look at the project such as Carpenter or similar? Because I think Carpenter, it is an AWS project, an open source AWS project.
Yeah.
Does the autoscaling in a slightly different way, because I know what does Carpenter does in AWS. I don't know how it works internally. But if you have, for example, a pod with one CPU and 1 GB of RAM pending, it decides the better size of AWS AC2 instance to create and join to your cluster. So I think the amount of missing resources to join to the cluster.
Yeah, but also the class autoscaler knows about the resource that
Yes,
the pod,
but you can create a provider for Carpenter. Carpenter, if I understood
yeah.
correctly, you can understand quite easily a new provider that I think is more dynamic than the cluster autoscaler one, but I don't know. I
Is a
never
lot
tried
of,
to.
no, it was an idea at first to use Carpenter, but it wasn't open source, and so we have used the class autoscaler. But
Okay.
yes, I already seen the Carpenter version.
Okay.
I have a question, Riccardo. It seems to me that it's taking quite a lot of time to set up the peering. I think around 1 minute, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Am I wrong, or?
No, you are right, but this is the experience that I have with Liqo, because now I haven't integrated the Liqo API. I only send the command to do the peering hidden in the code, but in other version of test is not in this project. In other project, I have the peering set up in 60 seconds normally.
Yeah, it's a normal time, I'd say. Depends how much.
You are running.
Yeah, depends also
how you are configuring the peering.
Just for information, the images were already downloaded on the clusters, or it was a fresh cluster?
Was already downloaded, but the difference is only 20 seconds, 10 seconds, not so much.
Thanks.
I have a question about. Oh, sorry, Fulvio.
If I remember correctly, earlier version of Liqo was setting up the peering in much shorter time than one.
Because the new version is creating a load balancer for the connection, and it is waiting for each step to be ready before to continue with the new one. The old one was more
Okay.
without check.
So you feel that the biggest component in this delay is the creation of the load balancer?
It depends on the cloud provider, but yes, absolutely. If you are in AWS, is around 10 minutes. If you are on Aruba Cloud, 2, I think more than that. So more or less, yes, yeah, absolutely. The longest thing is to set up.
Okay.
To set up the load balancer, to obtain the IP, and in some cases to obtain a DNS name that you're resolving to this IP, and to have the time that the DNS is propagated and be available for.
Yeah,
for
the biggest time is the DNS on AWS, but on other cloud providers, usually peering is way faster.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that.
I have a question about permissions. How are you handling the peering from kubeconfig perspective? Like, do you have a centralized thing as both kubeconfigs?
Yes, for now it's not so secure because it's a discovery server that has the kubeconfig.
Okay.
So we send it to the node manager, and so it could create a peering.
Okay, got it.
And also, all these components, node manager and discovery server, aren't tied with Liqo. They could run in other clusters. They have the API reachable, and so they could run in other clusters.
So potentially you could have this kind of orchestration system into a third cluster that orchestrates everything, and then the peering is established between other two directly. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Any other
Don't
question?
have other questions? No.
No? Okay. So we can move on with the agenda.
And thanks for your presentation.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Good work.
Thank you.
Can you maybe add the link of your code in the slides and then send the slides to us so that we can upload that
Yeah, no problem.
Liqo community repository? Thank you.
Okay, I believe we don't have anything more in the agenda. If anyone has any questions or any idea to present here, please feel free to raise your hand. Otherwise, we will see in the next community meeting.
Well, I was thinking about something that is not directly related to Liqo, but on these community meetings. I was thinking if there is a way, maybe also Mr. Rees has said something like this before, if we can think something to make more people knowing about these community meetings. I don't know, something in social like a Facebook page, an Instagram page. I don't know. I'm not so social, so I don't know. I see only the problem, but I don't know what is. If there is maybe some social dedicated to technical people. I don't know, something like a Facebook for developers. I don't know if there is something like this. Do you know? any one of the participants know if there is something like this? Because
I don't know, but at the moment we are posting the meeting. We posted, I think, 1 week ago. Probably we should post more more
well,
often. This.
what I was thinking is that it's maybe because I know about Liqo, a lot of people know about Liqo, but maybe to make Liqo know to people that don't know him yet. So I don't know. I go to Slashdot, see an article on Liqo. Oh, what is Liqo? It's something like this. I don't know if maybe. No, this is an idea. It's not. I don't have a solution. Sorry, but maybe I don't know. I will think about it. I will think about it, and maybe I will let you know if I have some idea. It was just a wild idea that has been in my mind during the presentation.
Yeah, for sure, things like blog post or things like that, talking about Liqo, talking about possible use cases could be useful, as people can via the blog post know Liqo. Yeah, but it requires a lot of time.
Yeah, I know.
But this is something that we definitely can do to improve the engagement.
Yeah, because I think that Liqo is a project that you can be useful to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Sure.
Okay. First, my fault, but I forgot to post the announcement on the Liqo community channel.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we posted on LinkedIn, but we didn't post on our Slack. Okay. Anyway, I have two questions about the roadmap. So you mentioned, Claudio, 102. When do we expect 102 and when do we expect 1.1 roughly? Because the roadmap is still rather old, so I think we have to update our repository with a little bit more information.
Yeah, actually 1.0.2, I believe, will be released in the next couple of weeks. There are just a few PRs to be reviewed and to be merged. And at that point, I believe that they can be released. While instead about 1.1, about the major release, I actually don't know. And I believe this needs to be defined. Also considering what we want to add and what are the priorities of the community for this new release.
Okay, so could it be realistic, something like end of the year or something similar for 1.1?
Yeah, I don't want to speak for the others, but I think so.
I think it's realistic too.
Yeah, the two features that we already tagged as 1.1, which is something like, I can use the chat, is labeled as this. I send the command in the in the chat. Are already, one is already ready, which is the one on the security. While the other is in progress, and Gabriele, who is here, is actually working on that.
Yeah, we have the one about the security engine, which I believe is ready. We have another which is work in progress but almost done, that we made with Julia about the for some peering. And the one of Gabriele, don't know what is the state. Maybe ready to review, and that needs to be reviewed. Then there are some other things that needs to be completely done, like for example the in-place pod vertical autoscaler Francesco was working on, and a few other things, I believe.
Yeah, we have no issue for in-place pod vertical autoscaler. So probably I will open an issue very soon, so we can track also this.
Okay. Okay. So is it okay if we label things like release 1.1 so that it's probably easier to track what
Sure.
Okay. Okay. No, if there are no questions on this point, I will raise my last question, which is next meeting. Should we plan something at the end of October? So it's more or less 1 month from now. At that point, the 102 should be already released, and we should have a little bit more clear idea on the next step. End of October. Okay. Taking note. Okay. Any other question from the people here? No? So who closed the meeting? Claudio, I think, isn't it?
I'm not so skilled to close the meeting, so I leave the floor to you, Fulvio. Please feel free to close the meeting.
Today I had a speech in an event here in Torino, and I didn't know I was put on top of a big table or something like that, like Steve Jobs. I say, I'm a little bit scared. Never something like that. But anyway, so I'm not really expert. But thank you very much for Riccardo, for your presentation, for your great work. And thank you all the participants here, and let's meet in 1 month, a little bit, in 1 month, with an updated agenda. Hopefully, let's try to circulate the invitation a little bit earlier on the proper channel. Thank you very much, everybody, for the effort and for being here.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.